Good evening and good morning to all of you. This is Param here. We are now ready to start. We welcome you to the demo session on the SAP HANA 2.0 with the S4 HANA Embedded Analytics. We will be following the standard study materials that are part of the certification on the SAP HANA and the S4 HANA Embedded Analytics. In the demo session today, we will have a few slides to be able to understand the agenda of the training program, and then we will log into the training system to have a quick exploration about the training landscape. By logging into the studio of the SAP HANA and be able to access the various virtual data models which are used by the embedded analytics reporting tools on the HANA and also the S4 HANA. For the questions during the session, you can use the chat box. You can type your questions, and or else you can click on the raise hand icon. We have participants Fazal Sayed, Hari Krishna, Harish Kumar, Rajani, and we've got other couple of participants on the telephone line as well. So feel free to type in your questions for the demo session. And then we open for questions in another 15 minutes. First, I will walk everybody through the training slides. And then we will log into the system, explore the training environment, and then we take your questions. Okay, so let's get started. The training agenda is the academic training, which is offered by the SAP for the certification programs on the SAP HANA, and the planned S4 HANA certification with the embedded analytics, which is planned to be released by the second half of the year. So for SAP HANA certification, the study materials are as follows: the HA100, which provides the foundation on the SAP HANA with the 2.0, then the HA300 with the SAP HANA data modeling concept. We also have the security authorization concept in the HANA HA300 and the reporting with the business objects reporting tools to be able to directly connect on the HANA data models and run the live analytics. So HANA Foundation, it is a critical component in order to start working with any SAP HANA related projects, whether you are a BW consultant working with the BW on the HANA, or an SAP application consultant on the S4 HANA, or SAP Business Suite consultant like the CRM, SRM, the PLM, right, the GRC. So for all of those application consultants, the foundation on the SAP HANA and the ability to explore the advanced HANA virtual data modeling, the security authorization, the way we run the transports in the HANA, and also connect with the reporting tools directly. So this is important component for every SAP consultant today, whether it is the technical or the functional. Then comes in the SAP S4 HANA Foundation. The SAP S4 HANA today is the 4th generation SAP ecosystem, whereby it is powered by the HANA database for the entire SAP Business Suite applications. The ERP is now the S4. Then the CRM, SRM, PLM, supply chain management, the BW, the APO, the MDM, the GRC, the MDG, the NetWeaver, and the various other add-ons which are recently acquired by the SAP on the cloud-based platform like the Ariba, Concur, SuccessFactors, the Hybris, and the Fieldglass. They are all able to connect with the S4 for the extended scalable reporting as well as the day-to-day business transactions. So today, all SAP consultants, technical, functional, project managers are required to also have a understanding about the S/4HANA foundation in terms of the migration for the existing installed base, the SAP customers connecting with the source SAP and other non-SAP sources. How do you migrate the data into the HANA and how we upgrade the classic ECC towards the S4 HANA? And what are the changes that we are going to be able to explore after we go live with the S/4HANA. The technical changes with regards to the technical tables, most of which are going to be deleted at the time of migration and converted into a view like the CDS views. So the SAP S/4HANA Foundation is also today a critical component for all the SAP stakeholders, SAP project stakeholders, technical and functional. So that is included here in the training program. And then we focus in our embedded analytics. The embedded analytics today is an important component from the reporting standpoint for the various business functions once they are committed from the ERP application S4 transaction for various modules like the FI, the SD, the MM, the QM, the various COPA, including the planning application tools that are connected today with the S4. Once the transaction document posting is done by the functional, then we can also get the real-time analytics about the processing of the transaction. For example, a sales order, which we create with the VA01 transaction code, the moment you have committed the transaction with the sales document being updated in the S4, we can then be able to understand the sales order processing. All right. So it provides the real-time analytics and allows the business functions to be able to operate the transactions real time and get the real-time insights to be able to explore and provide any corrective or preventive maintenance of the transactions with the help of the embedded analytics. The embedded analytics could be derived from various sources of the S/4HANA. What we mean by the sources of the S4 are the migration sources from where we're migrating the classic ECC or the Business Suite, CRM, SRM, PLM into the S4. It could be one of the source system. Or from the HANA Foundation, you have the HANA virtual data models, which are created by the SAP standard, or the ones that we create. We will learn how to create our own data models in the HANA database directly. It could also be one of the source for the embedded analytics in the S/4HANA. And then in the S4, we also have the advanced virtual data modeling, which we can create ourselves with a functional algorithm provided by the CDS views, the core data services views, which can also help in providing the analytics from the customized VDMs of the S/4HANA. We will also come across the content which has already been delivered by the SAP embedded in the S/4HANA with the various business logic in the S4 embedded analytics. So we will also be able to explore and how we consume these analytics is provided with the SAP Fiori Launchpad. We will be able to explore the Fiori and the multiple apps with the individual tiles that can conduct the transactions as well as the analytics. And apart from the SAP Fiori, the classic business objects reporting tools can also be able to render the embedded analytics views and the analytical queries. So it's a complete life cycle from the basics with the HANA and then into the S4 HANA, the foundation, the migration, the various methodologies that we use, and the migration activities. We will have some part of the migration live in the training environment. And post migration, what we're going to check are some of the embedded analytics and of course the technical changes, and then the advanced activities that require a application consultant to understand the process of creating the CDS views and the various types of those CDS views in the S4 HANA. Now, with the next slide, we have here the various generations of the SAP. The first generation is the R2, the real-time two-tier architecture. The second generation is the R3 with the real-time three-tier architecture. So you have reporting layer, application layer, and database layer. And then the ERP is the SAP third generation. So the ERP connects to various business suite applications like the CRM, the SRM, the PLM, supply chain, GRC, MDG, the NetWeaver, the BW, and other web application web sources are also connected with the ERP. Now today, the ERP is powered by the HANA database and other optimization with the reduction of the data footprint, the simplification in the business functional areas, and powered by the HANA database to make the ERP much more scalable to the new generation applications and cloud computing platforms. So the fourth generation is the S4 HANA. Right? So the S4 HANA is powered by the HANA database, and only HANA database. S4 HANA cannot be connected with the primary database to Oracle, to SQL Server, to the DB2 or Teradata. So they do not work with the other traditional databases. S4 HANA works primarily with the HANA database. So the fourth generation SAP, you can see here S/4. S stands for the SAP Business Suite. So what are those SAP Business Suite applications, right? So we have the ECC Classic, then with the CRM, the Customer Relationship Management, the SRM, Supplier Relationship Management, the Supply Chain Management, the PLM, the Master Data Management, the MDM, the GRC, the MDG, then we have the various NetWeaver component, right? And likewise the BW applications. So these are all the SAP Business Suite on the fourth generation SAP. So SAP Business Suite, the /4 is the fourth generation powered by the HANA database. On the HANA database, it will be connected. So entire SAP Business Suite is going for a paradigm shift with regards to the various business functions that are being already consumed and configured in these classic Business Suite applications will undergo optimization, acceleration, and the simplification with the backend processing and powered by the HANA database. We also have predefined content in the ECC, in all of these SRM, CRM, PLM, BW. We have various business content which have been pre-delivered by the SAP S4 for the new compatibility with the S4 HANA. All right, so S/4 here implies the SAP Business Suite, the 4, the numeric 4 is the 4th generation and powered only by the HANA database. The HANA database could be on the HANA database version 1 or version 2. Likewise, the S4 HANA will have multiple versions of the S4 HANA. Right, so let's go to the next slide, which will give you the background about the year in which these products were released, and then we will come into the versions of the HANA and the S4. So with regards to the market background with the products that are being released, with the invention of the HANA and the further improvement from the HANA towards the S4, you have the roadmap so far. So HANA was released in 2011. It provides an in-memory platform for the various transactions that we write into the HANA or we read from the HANA. So first up is to get a basic awareness about what does the HANA offer and how it is different in terms of the various database solutions that we already have in our IT landscape or the business landscape. And for that, we'll just have a quick drawing here on the drawing board. So we will have two parts of the screen on the left-hand side and right here, XDB. This is the traditional database and versus the HANA database. The traditional database, as we all know, is powered by the hard disk drives. And these hard disk drives have a spinning disk. Okay, the HDDs have a spinning disk. So the speed of the spinning disk is measured by an RPM, ranging from 1,000 rotations per minute to 3,000 to 5,000 to a maximum of 11,000 rotations per minute, according to the different databases that we have with the Oracle, with the Microsoft SQL Server, with the IBM DB2, likewise the Teradata. So all of these spinning disk-based database with the hard disk drive have a limitation with the spinning disk because this is how it was mechanically designed. We cannot increase the RPM because it's a fixed number. But with the increasing volume of data that has been written to these databases and increasing number of complexity for the business functions that needs to be computed and offer the faster reporting, was not able to provide the overall bulk data processing and the storage of big data and the need for speed for various transactions, right? Because the RPM was a fixed number, we cannot increase the speed of these spinning disk HDDs, hard disk drives. So what the SAP did was to connect with the live cache and in the application server of the SAP Business Suite application, ERP, BW, CRM, there were some accelerators or the live cache or distributed cache that was connected from the application server to provide some interim solution for acceleration for some mission critical reporting. But that was not a permanent solution. The permanent solution is to be able to accelerate where the data actually lives, and that's our database. However, the database with the hard disk drives have a spinning disk. So SAP was able to collaborate with the various database partners. SAP already had a database called the MaxDB, some of you might be aware, and SAP was able to create some of the MaxDB database RDBMS programs to understand how the database used to work. And with the SAP working with various database partner, the SAP HANA was able to be a new solution. Of course, SAP have acquired Sybase in 2010, and following year, the SAP HANA was officially released. So SAP HANA is also a disk, but it is not a spinning disk, right? It is powered by a solid state disk. SSDs. Some of you might be aware when you go to the retail store to buy a computer or a laptop, or even today our iPhones and the mobile phones, you have those SSDs, solid state disk. It does not have any spinning disk, so no more vibrations in our laptops, because if it is SSD, there is no spinning disk. And the scalability that these SSDs provide, you can stack it up or you can scale out without any RPMs restrictions. It is entirely in memory, so you have different memory modules that are connected with the CPUs that are able to provide sub-supercomputing accelerations of the solid state disk, no spinning disk. So with the increasing volume of data that we connect and write into the HANA database, or increasing complexity of the business functions, the HANA database was able to always offer a high performance, whether you are writing it or you're reading from the HANA or you're connecting sideways with various side systems or source systems or reporting tools or with the cloud. It is scalable because you have a stack up, and it is also comparatively cheaper compared to the hard disk drives. So this is where the solid state disk powering up the HANA with the sub-supercomputing CPU processors and the need for the real-time performance for transactions that we compute in our ERP or OLTP systems, and the reports that we expect, we don't have to wait for 15-20 minutes and get a timeout like what we used to get in our traditional database with the ECC, but with the HANA we get the results real fast. So the SSD, solid state disk, is the new technology, and this is the backbone of the HANA database. And it has got multiple software components that SAP have been providing in the other databases and the live cache and the BW accelerators and also distributed cache. So different SAP software were also added on the HANA database, and this is our new solution from the SAP. So let's come back to the slide. So in the year 2010, with the SAP acquiring Sybase and the ability to provide a new innovation platform and offer a SSD-based, disk-based database to provide an in-memory platform, and then SAP called it as the SAP HANA. Okay, the HANA is the high performance. So whatever transactions that we perform or conduct from the applications or for reporting, it will always offer high performance, which means real time. And with the real time data, it allows the user for real time insights. So what's happening with my sales order? What's happening with my purchase order? I have released my PO. So what's the status of the PO? I've created a manufacturing order, and there are some various production orders. So how are they providing the various solution to my suppliers, or in my inventory, I'm looking for a particular material that is expected in my dispatch because I'm doing a sell from the stock directly because I'm a manufacturer, or maybe I'm a reseller. I have various business partners and trading partners as a reseller, so I'm expecting the products that I procure to be repackaged, and then I have my dispatch going on. So every particular transactions always have a need of real time. And with the real time comes the real time analytics. So what is the status with the real time of the transactions is available from this particular appliance. So analytical. So it's not just a database box, but it also offers a platform, the in-memory platform, for the data to be computed and compiled on a real-time basis. And always the transactions are really fast, whether you are working with the big data Or you have various large database clusters that you're connecting from a migration standpoint, right? So high performance analytical, and it is an appliance, which means that you have a server, you have a physical box, which is a physical database of the SAP HANA. So high performance analytical appliance is the new solution from the SAP built in 2011. And from here, the following year, 2012, was the year in which the BW application was connected on the HANA. The BW was created for the reporting, for the consolidation, for the planning, and likewise to offer an enterprise data warehouse for the real large customers with various big data sets that has to be separately stored in an enterprise data warehouse. So the BW, which is the business warehouse, was powered by the HANA, resulting into the real-time analytics and the reports, which are hosted from the BW application server on the HANA database. The following year, 2013, is when you have the SAP Business Suite. The primarily SAP Business Suite component is the ECC, the classic ERP, with the ECC6, EHP7, or EHP8 was powered by the HANA database, resulting into ECC real-time transactions. So the moment you have your transactions conducted, you're able to get the real-time report with the Business Suite on the HANA, and the ability to have a unification of the processing of the transaction and the reporting from the analytics standpoint. The same year, 2013, is the year in which we're able to connect with the various cloud service providers like Amazon Web Service, Microsoft Azure Cloud, the SAP Cloud with the HCP HANA Cloud Platform, the HCC HANA Enterprise Cloud Platform, and third-party or private cloud options offered by various consulting partners of the SAP. The following year, 2014, was an experiment year for the SAP ECC, which is on the HANA, to be further simplified with the business process. So the simple finance is because the finance module, some of you would be already able to understand that in the FICO, it's a complex world of transactional documents from the FI. In the FI, starting with the general ledger, whether you are on the classic general ledger or the new general ledger, or the asset accounting, classic asset accounting or the new asset accounting, material ledgers, the controlling, the profitability analysis, the cash management, the treasury management, house bank accounts, the finance planning, right? So there are various sub-entities within the finance module, and it's a complex world from the FI document posting standpoint. And because you have different modules within the finance and the sub-entities, it becomes quite complex. And every time an FICO, if you're a general ledger accountant, you also have to work with the other accountants in the FI to get a settlement, to get the various variants to be computed, and then you have a unification. You always check the costing or the general ledger with the various types of ledgers. You have account payables, account receivables ledger. You have the reconciliation ledger. We have additional ledger, and of course the general ledger. So it is always important for the FICU to always go and ask, get a manual export of the data to the Excel files, and then we compute our finance consolidation. Again, from the COPA standpoint, the COPA cost-based, the COPA account-based, COPA profitability controlling area has to go for the COPA realignment, and asset accounting, asset transfers, partial asset transfers needs to be computed and updated to the financial statements if it is required. So it is a humongous task within the FI to be able to have a unification, consolidation, and when you go for auditing, audit trial based from the technical standpoint, from the financial statements and P&L, which is the profit and loss statements, it's always a humongous task to get the data which is unified, data which is accurate, and data which is not manipulated, right? So it was a unification requirement and simplification requirement, which was achieved in the 2014 with instant insights. The moment we do an FI a journal ledger posting, we get the insights, and then we also have the single source of truth, which is powered by the HANA database. So we don't have to go for other application systems or modules within the FI to get the actual absolute value of the financial statements. No more aggregates required, because the aggregate is basically the tables. The aggregate are basically the redundant tables, which are created by SAP, is now deleted because they are redundant, and because HANA offer real time, these aggregate redundant tables are also dropped, and the finance become more simplified. So single source of truth is also offered by one unified table that we will understand once we are in the further sessions. Now, from here, the following year, 2015, is when the S4 was launched officially with the fourth generation SAP powered by the HANA, and simplification with the finance and logistics, the core component of the ECC, and of course we have human capital management and other business suite, offering the simplified data models, and then better user experience with the Fury, advanced processing, the choice of deployment to go on the cloud or stay on premise or have a hybrid or multi-tenancy with the clustered large landscaping. So this is the roadmap that we have from the SAP with regards to the products that has been further simplified, and the reverse engineering from the database up to the application to offer a simplified and then a scalable solution to the future, and not only real time always, but also the need of having big data processing, because in the future we are also expecting emerging data sources, not only our ERP, but we have today machine learning, we have the AI, we have telematics, we have the devices, IoT, we have the cloud, which are the emerging data sources, and from where we have certain important critical data sets that has to be compiled in the HANA or stored in the HANA and computed from the S4 and then made it available over to the analytical reporting tools, right? So this is to provide everybody a quick glimpse about the roadmap so that we know from where we are coming from and where are we proceeding further with the new changes. The year 2025 is when SAP has provided a timeline for the installed base SAP customers to go on the HANA with the S4. So over 300,000 SAP customers are required to go on the HANA and then upgrade to the S4 to make it compatible with the future solutions of the SAP, and also accelerate the existing solutions of that local business to make it more scalable, accelerate it, and make it ready for the future innovations. Then we proceed to the next slide quickly, and then we should be ready to explore the training environment. The next slide over here provides the need of having the HANA database compared to the traditional engagement that we have been working in our IT landscape for offering the business solutions to our ERP customers. So we have two parts of the slide. On the left-hand side, there was our ERP with the line of business. This is the LOB for the various industry sectors and the modules. And it is the system of records to store the data in the underlying database. The database is powered by the spinning disk. And with the increasing volume of data, the database of course, database also have the database indexing, partitioning, but these are all interim solution, not a permanent solution. Okay, so and with the need of the large-scale data to be processed by these databases and the need of having real-time reports coming out of the application was a challenge in the classic environment. So then what the customer did was to also connect with the BW system to transfer the data to the BW application for engagement with the business analytical business warehouse, which also was powered by a spinning disk. And with the increasing volume of data, it also had different issues. Some of you might be working with the BW, so you would know the performance of the BW with the classic BW versions. So then comes in the SAP HANA, which provides a solution in terms of accelerating and offering a large database platform that can support both the ERP and the BW with one single database of the SAP HANA appliance. So here we have a new futuristic platform, not just data storage for big data, but also application acceleration for the ERP and the other business application systems like CRM or BW, thereby resulting into a total cost of investment reduction. So there is no need to maintain two different databases. We just have one database, which is used for writing the transaction from the application and reading it into the reporting from one single source of truth. We are not exporting elsewhere to Excel and then manipulating or other systems, right? So it's available with single source of truth on the HANA database, available on-premise or on the cloud. So SAP HANA has a capacity component called as the MCOD, which is multiple component on one single database so that you can host your ERP or other business application from one single database. So this is also another benefit to help reduce the cost of the deployment and the cost of the existing engagement with the HANA and the acceleration of the ERP process and other business applications from one single database. So this is the technical benefit, and from the business standpoint, we will learn about the various business benefits that we can derive out of the HANA. We have various use cases and examples that we will discuss in our upcoming session. Okay, so what I'm going to do next is to log in into the training environment so that we can have a quick glimpse about the systems that are offered for the training in the HANA and the S/4HANA. So let me switch over to the training system. This is our training environment. We all will receive a IP address in which we need to connect with the remote desktop to our local training servers. It's available on the public domain, so you can connect from any locations. Now, once you're connected, you have various application servers that we can work. So these are the multiple application servers. We'll have access to each one of these, no problem at all. We also have the ERP with the SLT. This is from the migration standpoint. S/4HANA, the 1809 version, which is the version for 2018. So if you come across these versions like 1503, 1511, this is the 2015 March and 2015 November edition of the S/4HANA. Then 1610 is the October edition of the 2016 version of the S/4HANA. 1710, 2017 October edition of the S/4HANA. And 1809 is a September edition of the 2018 S/4HANA. We also have 1909 as well. So these are the multiple versions of the S/4. Okay, so you can connect to any one of these systems, and once we get started with our sessions, then we will come to know further details. Well, we will work with the ERP, we will work with the S/4, we will work with some part of the BW, because BW could be also a target system for the S/4. So S/4HANA connecting with the B/4HANA for various analytics, which is also included in the scope to have the analytical queries for the B4 acquiring the data from the S/4HANA. Then we got the HANA Studio. The SAP HANA Studio is the Eclipse based, which is primarily used for the systems on premise. Each one of us will have our login credentials. Connect to the HANA with the various catalog, and then the tables in that catalog. Get the data exploration, of course, with the authorization that is required. Right, so with the proper authorization, you can analyze the data sets over here. This is directly from the table. And likewise, if you want to work with the data models, you have various data models which are part of the HANA data modeling package. Each of these data models offer a unification in terms of the mapping with the corresponding tables. So we'll learn how we can create our own example to join, to run the unification. And there are also SAP predefined content, which has been already delivered by the SAP in the SAP package. So if I go here to the SAP on the left-hand side, and HANA Business Analytics, and then ECC, so this is the path that you can follow once you have your training system access. Okay, so the predefined content offered by the SAP in the SAP package with the HANA Business Analytics. You also have the BI content for the BW on the HANA, or if you're working with the ECC, you have ECC or CRM, SRM, whichever is installed by the administrator, the basis, you'll have the relevant access. So in our training system, we have over 1,000 ECC virtual data models, or the HANA views, which are offered as a predefined content for master data and also for transactional data from all the modules, the billing, the sales, the finance, relevant tables with the bill of materials, BSEC, business partner, master data, chart of accounts, controlling, cost center management, credit management, customer sales, customer invoicing from the SD, delivery, dunning, equipment management, financial statements, general ledger accounting, inventory, maintenance, manufacturing, production, manufacturing order, goods movement, planned, production planning, profit center accounting, purchasing, purchase, procurement and sourcing, retail management, sales contract, sales management, and other relevant tables with the ERP ECC. So these are all the predefined. So if you open any one of these, for example, delivery block by the person, so you have the predefined mapping, or if you go with the customer return item, or if you go with the accounting document category, posting status. So these are predefined. So we do not have to develop everything from the scratch. You can also use the predefined options which are available from the SAP embedded in the HANA database. Right, so you have to go here, go into here, sub model view, and go to the ECC sub package. This is also known as HANA Live. HANA Live. So HANA Live package provides the predefined content embedded in the HANA database for the relevant module. In our training server, we have ECC. In your project server, you could be working with the CRM, SRM, right? Likewise, you have the HANA Live related predefined views, which is already embedded in the HANA database. So this is within the database. And likewise for the applications which you want to connect with the application S4. So let me close all of these tabs on the right hand side, and we will log in into the S4 HANA server. 1810 is the system. So now once we're connected, we'll be able to get all the application repository from the S4 HANA system. This is the ABAP package. And you can open any one of these programs from the SAP S4 application. Or you can open a transaction code from here, for example, SE11 from the HANA Studio. It's going to trigger the SAP GUI and allow you to connect to the SAP GUI, for example, and get a table, BSEC table. So with one single interface, we can explore the various components of the application server and the HANA database. Likewise, we can switch over to the BW for the BW applications. So we have different perspectives that allow the user to navigate. If I'm going to work with the S4 related activities with the S4 application, I need to have a ABAP perspective installed in the HANA Studio so that I can connect to the ABAP application server, like S4 or CRM, SRM, right, to work with the ABAP related. And here you also have the component of creating the various repository objects, including the CDS views. So apart from the technical side of the ABAP components, we also have a list of various other artifacts that can be built in our S4HANA system, right? These are all the related objects. So ABAP related objects. or BW related objects, BW composer providers, transient, or the open ODS views or ADSOs. HANA application development with the Fury, working with the XSJS. XS stands for Extended Services, Java scripting for the Fury consultants. Then other technical areas connecting with the Hadoop, UI5 application development or web services, right? So these are various areas of the application development that can be built in here, and also ABAP development can all be defined over here. BOPF, business objects, cloud connection, cloud identification with the Cloud Foundry connecting with the HANA or S4. Then CDS, core data services, definitions. So these are various technical paths to work with the S4. And of course, with the S4, you also have embedded BW that we can also be able to explore. Then comes in the reporting tools. So there could be various reporting tools, which I have here. Once you go to the start menu, you got the business intelligence, business objects, reporting tools, right? So you have the BOAO, the BO Design Studio, the Crystal Reports Enterprise, the SAP Lumira. So these are the various client-based reporting tools, and then the Fury, the web application based reporting interface or a portal on the web to connect with the S4HANA Fury apps that render a transaction from the S4 or the analytics from the S4HANA. So you could connect to the 1809 version of the Fury, or right. So you have this link as well as this link, right? So this is 1809, and the one that I opened is the 1610. This is the older version. You can work with the 1809, also available. Then we have a Fury Launchpad Designer link. This is also upcoming in our training session. Then Lumira Discovery, additional tools, apart from the business objects reporting tools. So this is available in our training server. So let's quickly go over to the Fury. This is the Fury Launchpad. You have the landing screen, and whichever version that you have opened, could be the 1511, 1610, 2017 version, 18 version, 19 version. You have all of these relevant tiles that you are authorized from the PFCG of the S4HANA. So if you want to work with a particular module, let's say you are an SD consultant, or you are a BW consultant, or you are a administrator, basis administrator responsible to do the security, the transport, and the backup administration. So each SAP user in the ECC or Business Suite have their corresponding PFCG role. That role decides the access to the Fury, right? So if I'm an MRP controller, then I need to have access with the MRP related apps to do the MRP live in my production, material management, and the bill of materials activities, right? So because I'm an MRP controller. So the MRP controller authorization to do transactions and the relevant analytics are controlled in the PFCG. So you will also have new Fury-related PFCG roles that need to be granted. So we will also have the access to those roles. And once you have those roles granted in the backend in the S4, then you have these tiles popping up in the Fury Launchpad, allowing the user consultant to explore transactional tiles or analytical tiles. right? Transactional tiles for conducting transaction codes, or analytical tiles for reporting. Now, if I want to explore the entire list, I can go up in here, go to the app finder, so I can see a lot of different group of these apps. Further details we will perform in our training sessions on how to explore, how to assign the roles, so what are the relevant backend activities that are required, and what if you have a S4 CDS view that needs to connect to the Fury, right? So those are all the additional activities that we will learn as a part of our training. So kindly get the list of these areas from the training content standpoint. So let me quickly jump back into the slide, which has the list of the training topics. Okay, so we have here the SAP HANA related topics and S4 HANA related topics from these study materials. Okay, so let's take your questions from the demo session. So participants, we have Amit Patel, Fazal Sayed, Hari Krishna, Kanwar Maheshwari, Rajani N, Ravi. Right, so you can use the chat box to type in the questions or click on the raise hand icon or unmute your microphone. Or if you're connecting from a telephone line, there is a telephone PIN number to unmute your telephone line. Okay, so got a question from Ravi regarding the weekend batch, right? So weekend batch, we have the same batch, which is the HANA and S4 HANA. It is a combined HANA and S4 HANA weekend batch. So we have the same topics that we cover on the weekday, also available on the weekend batch. The same concept, the same topics. Then question from Fazal Sayed, major difference between the HANA 1 and the HANA version 2, the new functionalities that are being added. So in terms of the HANA version 1 and the HANA version 2, it is mostly to do with the additional features. The migration, the replication techniques, they are exactly the same, but the HANA version 2, the data modeling will be mostly from the calculation view. The authorization security concept is more interlinked with the S4HANA application, connecting with the S4 related roles from our HANA authorization objects. For example, for connecting with the BW, we have BW analysis authorization connecting with the analytic privilege. So there are certain changes in terms of the application features. The replication, the migration will be the same. So we have prepared a separate document which provides the difference between the HANA version 1 and the HANA version 2 with regards to the technical changes and also the functional changes that are made today by the SAP. There's also a predefined SAP related document, which is going to give you the difference between the HANA version 1 and HANA version 2. So let me quickly open the standard SAP material that provides the new features of HANA version 2 compared to the HANA version 1, mostly from the relevant data modeling capabilities. Okay, so it's a public document. let me just quickly open, right? So HANA version 2, what are the changes that we encounter today compared to the HANA version 1? So the content list are over here. With regards to the authorization, the administration, some part of the development with the use of the IDE, and database features, mostly from the security and the administration standpoint. Then connecting with the Hadoop through the SDA, Hadoop integration with the Hive connector. Working with the Web IDE for the cloud-based. And the improvement in terms of the technical development using the extended services. And finally, with the CDS views that we work in HANA version 2 for the S4 application. So these are all of the relevant changes. So we can download this document, which provides the overall information, okay, in terms of the administration related, terms of the support pack functionalities. Okay, so yes, we will discuss the major technical changes in the HANA version 2, because HANA version 2 is what we are going to work with, and that provides the relevant access to all the HANA related development, which is rendered in the S4 HANA. So if we quickly switch over to the application interface, okay, over here, or else if you go to the logon pad, right? So you then can find, let's quickly log in here into the S4 and go to the system status. We should be able to find that we are connected to the HANA database over here. And then the HANA database version is HANA 2.0. This is from the application server. So therefore, we will be able to understand the new concepts of the HANA version 2. Or if you go back to the studio and switch over to the modeling perspective and try and open the version of the HANA that we are going to work with, you can find our HANA training version right here is version 2.0 and support pack 02. So this is also a additional information that you can get in here. This is the version of our training HANA on HANA version 2.0. So yes, we will understand those in detail. Next, a question from Kanwar Maheshwari, how you differentiate between HANA 2 and the B4 HANA, right? So the B4 HANA will be a separate application interface, right? So you will have something like this in terms of the application interfacing, right? So you have the ECC on some database, which is migrated to the HANA database. So then you have ECC on the HANA. From here, you will have the S4 on the HANA database. This is your main system. The S4 HANA can connect to the BW4 HANA. They can be interlinked in terms of the HANA to HANA data transfer or with the operational data provisioning. There are some special data sources. So question is how you differentiate HANA 2.0 and the before HANA. So HANA will be the database. So this is the database here, and the before HANA will be the application server. And there are also other interoperation that take place between the HANA and the before HANA and S4. So those are advanced areas we will be able to understand in detail in our upcoming session. Okay, so please make sure that you have these documents. Okay, so that you can get the list of the topics. All right, and then I have the next from Ravi about the users of the HANA reporting views, who use which report and when, yeah, and how frequently. So there is a where used list from the development standpoint. And also there are logs that provide the reporting views of which user have consumed that particular model or the report, or activated or deleted or exported or imported or run auto documentation and how frequently. So you have various reports that come out from the HANA administration, basically from the HANA cockpit that provides those access about the various where used list that's available in the HANA cockpit. Then question from Fazal Sayed, any roadmap to HANA version 3.0? So at this point of time, it is not planned yet on the HANA version 3 until the customers are on the HANA database, because by the year 2025, existing license of the classic business suite will be dropped, which means the maintenance and the support of the SAP installed base customers will not be continued beyond 2025 until and unless we go on the HANA database. So up till 2025, there is no further plan of HANA version 3 because the first priority is to get the customers on the HANA, take the benefit of the HANA, then move on to the S4 HANA. So we have the next 5 years of these activities to take place, mostly from the migration standpoint, and then we also have some greenfield. So, but majority will be the migration to the HANA and the migration to the S4 HANA. So, which are huge requirements which will come across for all the SAP installed base customers till 2025. Beyond 2025, you can expect the newer versions of the S4 and the HANA database, but up till 2025, it's all about migration projects, migrating to the HANA and migrating to the S4 HANA. All right, so kindly contact the training coordinator with regards to these documents, because these documents are going to be the main reference document for all of us. And it is important that we read these documents. It is important that we explore these documents, because only after we explore these documents, then we will come to know the terminologies. Of course, we will learn the terminologies in the training, but mostly you can relate with the examples which are provided in these training materials, the SAP certification materials. Okay. All right, so let me go over to the Next slide, which has the timeline, the training. Yeah. So we have our first session tomorrow, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have a class starting tomorrow, same time, Monday through Friday. We will have the weekday, Monday through Friday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Just hold on. Let me confirm the start date. This is on Monday. Sorry, it is start date is on Monday, not tomorrow. Sorry about that. Monday. Monday is the 11th, I guess, 11th of May. Let me update the slide here quickly. So Monday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time will be the start date. Right, so please get in touch with the support team, whether we are going to have the invitation to these links. Right, so please get in touch with the support. So they will have the clarity about the details, whether we have the documents link for the download and training start date, start time, and then the server access and the queries regarding the training fees and the timelines. All right, so please get the details from the training team. The contact details are as follows. You can drop an email, kalyan@techietraining.com, or if you are calling in from the US on the telephone line, it is 478-8484. If you're calling from India, it is 800-800-4053, available on Viber and WhatsApp also. And Skype, in case if you want to get some technical support for the server access, you want to share the screen with the tech support staff. All right, you can connect with the Skype. It is Tech eTraining, the Skype ID, and the website is www.techetraining.com. Okay, so then you can get further details about the training invitations to the first session and going forward to the Monday through Friday training sessions timeline, the documents link, which we all require to read over this weekend so that you are ready to take the training from Monday onwards. The training materials are certification materials. We also recommend the participants after completing the course to go for the training based system and the training based documents and apply for certification. So certification will be very useful going forward to get a career advancement. Because when you are in the HANA project, it is good to have a HANA certification as an application consultant on the HANA. And once you have the S4HANA Embedded Analytics certification released by the second half of the year, post-July, you will have a S4HANA Embedded Analytics certification also will be available from the SAP. Okay, so there is a list of various certifications that we can apply after completing the course. We'll be sharing the certification codes to every one of you. And how do you prepare? Okay. Okay, so you can check your emails about the timeline. And the certification list, available certification. Let me just quickly pop up the screen from the training.sap.com certification hub. And then these are the available certification examinations from the SAP. So we will select the examination that is relevant for us in the HANA. All right. So we will prepare in our final session about the certification on the HANA and S4HANA Embedded Analytics. So for the S4HANA and the HANA Embedded Analytics certification, the question bank is also prepared. So something like a mock test question bank that will give you the preparation about how the certification questions will appear based upon the topic, the coverage, the format of the question. Could be fill up the blanks or multiple choice, single correct answer, multiple correct answers, true or false. These are all the questions that we have, and these are important questions for certification preparation on both the HANA and the S4HANA. With regards to the project development exercises, we will be working with a project training document in which we will follow the project framework by simulating an example of a customer retail company working on the sales scenario by connecting with the ERP live migration to the HANA and providing some of the deliverables and developments with the naming standard and also the security authorization matrix, which is a new area for all the consultants in the HANA so that we can provide the right authorization to the right users. So this is the first project training. And then the second is the practice which you are required to connect with the purchasing and relevant tables that we have from the SAP EKKO, EKPO, EKET, LFA1, and then we connect and then provide some of these expected results from the HANA available for the reporting. Okay, so this is another proof of concept project work that you are going to work as a self-practice in this training course. So these are the relevant guidelines for the training, but most important are the list of the certification materials that you need to have the relevant access, because these materials are academic documents. Once you have these materials, you have the confidence on working with the HANA project and also going with the certification examination later on. So kindly get in touch with the training coordinator on the email and the phone numbers, which are given here on the screen. Please also check your emails about the invitations to the first session starting Monday next week. All right, so look forward to connecting to all of you, and it will be my assurance that we provide the best content and experience from the various implementation projects and the migration projects with the HANA to the S4, and the project documentation and other related strategies that we will be able to understand apart from the academic training, right? So this will be for our training Monday to Friday for the weekday. All right, so thank you all. Good night and good day. Have a great weekend ahead. Please make sure that you have the documents to refer and the system access to explore, so that when we come back on Monday, we are up to speed and get start to learn the terminologies of the HANA, architecture of the SAP HANA, the migration approaches, the implementation methodologies that are implemented by various consulting partners, and then proceed to some of our navigation in the training system to perform those activities live in the training servers. All right, so thank you all, and we'll come back on Monday. Till then, take care and bye-bye for now.